I'm Go. Are we playing Go?
We're playing Go.
We're just gonna play Go.
Hey,
All right.
all. Welcome to MMO Grind. I'm here with my co-host Puka and our guest Zalen, the guy who's put together Smart Gamer Live. We are
Yep.
totally going to be talking about.
Wait, Zalen does this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would think I did it because I've been doing his show for the last month, but but he does all the hard work behind the scenes. And so we wanted to kind of come in here, dissect Zalen's life, make him cry, and then have him explain to us why.
Whoa! Hold on. What? You never said anything about this cry business here. So if you hear booming and screaming and whatnot coming through a mic, that's my little children upstairs are getting ready to go to martial arts, so they're running around the house like crazy. But
sort of pre-martial
Karate.
well, you know, when they're that young, they go in and it's more about following directions and just kind of doing the basic stuff, and then they've got little belts for them. I mean, it's kind of cute, and you know, you get to watch your kids do things, and you're like, "That's my boy."
So tell us a little bit about your gaming history. Teach us about the ways of the Zalen.
My gaming history, gosh.
What was
so
your first MMO, man? My
first MMO, I would say that I would claim would probably be Dark Age Camelot. I was in college and I had some friends / roommates at the time that figured out a way to skirt the system to get their full ride to pay, drop everything, and then they would just sit in their dorm room and play MMOs the whole time. So, you know, like any good college student, I decided, hey, those are the guys I want to hang out with because that's cool. You know, I was a music major. Nobody really likes doing the music stuff, so I was like, okay. So hooked up with these guys. Got into Dark Age Camelot. Oh, loved that game. We played probably so much more than we should have.
What realm? What realm?
We were Albion.
Oh, of course.
And what server?
Percival.
That was Percival.
Yep.
Albion. I probably killed you.
You probably tried to kill me at some point. Whether or not you succeeded, you have no proof. You have no proof.
I go find videos.
Yeah, you go find videos. You have absolutely no proof that anything good or bad happened. Anyway, so I was a friar. I was always the Christmas friar was kind of my thing on there. Because I'd always dye my armor red and green for some reason. I don't even know why that became an issue. I'll have to ask my friend. Artalis, if you're watching, you can remind me why I was the Christmas friar. But I was always a healing friar, which in Dark Age of Camelot, people just didn't heal as friars. Like you didn't do that. You were more of a DPS class. Yeah, you just were not a main healer. I main healed. I was one of those guys that was just like, you're gonna tell me I can't do something? Fuck you, buddy. I'm gonna go prove you wrong. So I would get on there and do that for ages and ages. Then we got into
healers, but
eventually, but at the beginning it was
no.
You know, and then as a healer in healing spec, I would go down into Darkness Falls and basically solo farm for diamond tokens, whatever they were at the time. Gosh, I don't remember. This was what, 2001 ish?
It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
Been a minute, yeah.
Man. So
somebody get that man a walker. He needs an MMO walker.
You're back when I played MMOs. You kids
did that for a while.
We had to run for 15 minutes just to get to the mobs to start killing.
Hey, I mean, that was some good times.
And you ain't wrong, because it took you 30 minutes just to ride a horse from one end of the realm to the other end of the realm so you can
farming Darkness Falls, you spent time just getting down there. Then one person would log in. We had to go back and get them.
But when you're in college, it's like, come on, you set your horse to go, you go down the hall, use the bathroom, you go heat up a pizza in the microwave. My roommate and I always had... My longest running roommate and I had a battle of who would clean out the rice cooker. and none of us wanted to, so it just turned into a science experiment. Yes, Puka, that face is perfect. We called it our chia pet. This is the dumb crap you do in college, right? So our dorm was like 7 stories tall, so we would take this chia pet rice cooker and we'd go up to the 7th floor, and it had a garbage chute, and it was just this giant square funnel thing that went from the top floor all the way to the basement. You just pulled open the door and you just threw in your garbage, and then some poor soul down at the bottom who needed a job, who thought that was going to be a good one, went down there and cleaned all that shit up. So, what did our smart asses do? We would take this chia pet rice cooker up to the top floor and just chuck it. For no apparent reason, then sure, why the hell not? But, so, back to MMO away from the chia pet. And if anybody sends me a chia pet, that's not going to be happening. Especially if it's a rice cooker chia pet. Don't do it. If you're watching and you're in college, don't do it. You're wasting valuable resources. Those rice cookers cost money. You need that money.
Just remember, do crazy shit like that in college, because that's the time to get that experience out of the way before you become an adult.
Gosh, who was it I was talking with recently? It was one of those things that was, why did we do the dumb shit in college? It was because we were still in shape to be able to get away fast enough before we killed ourselves. Wow. I mean, it's true. You think about all the stuff you did back in the day. It was, the only reason you survived, aside from the fact they didn't have video cameras and all that, like they do today on phones and everything else,
just don't socially survive anymore.
But back to your question, MMOs. Yeah, so Dark Age of Camelot was kind of my first one that I got into. And I was with a paladin that really was kind of the first one on Percival to really do a lot of the twisting of shouts and songs that paladins had to do. So he could hold aggro and stay alive like nobody's business. And a lot of the other paladins, which we eventually called lazy paladins, just for some reason didn't either figure it out, or again, were just lazy as crap and just didn't want to do it. So we would go around and
would go play a minstrel.
I never got into that class. It just wasn't my thing. I was always the healer.
They were awesome.
So we did that for a while. They tried to get me into EverQuest. Tried that, and then one of our roommates fell asleep at his keyboard one night and was apparently bound to a really bad location. He lost 22 levels in one night because he fell asleep. He'd spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn, die. Yeah, 22 levels in EverQuest. Yeah, for those of you that remember, EverQuest, a level can take you months of like full-time grinding. I mean, this was nasty stuff. So after that, I was like, yep, nope, EverQuest is not my thing. So we dipped into Asheron's Call a little bit. Again, not really my thing. And then at some point, I decided I was a big boy and went out and got an apartment off campus with some other friends. And that was right around the time that World of Warcraft was starting to come out. So my boss at the time and another one of my buddies decided to go down to the Fry's in Fountain Valley, California, with 5,000 of our closest friends and stand in line to get these signed copies. And we had such a good time with our 5,000 closest friends that we decided to do it for the next 2 or 3 expansion packs. So I have these awesome paperweights here on my shelf of the collector's editions that have all the signatures and stuff. So I mean, that's pretty cool, but it's like, what do you do with them? They're literally taking up room on
sell them on eBay.
Alex has got the greatest treat of all. He showed me the greatest treat of all. And it's that Saran Wrap Warhammer Collector's Edition. That's the greatest thing since sliced bread. What an empty promise. I'm good. Sorry.
You good? Do you need a minute? We can give you a minute.
It was bad.
So we were in beta and everything for that, and strangely enough, I played a mage in beta, and then when the game actually started, I rolled a priest. I don't know why. I just did. And I was one of those sadistic people that decided to actually level the priest as holy. Again, don't know why you would do that in vanilla WoW, but I did. And you know, this was back in the day when people didn't really know.
Shadow was to be able to go level.
But see, I didn't do Shadow.
He didn't like it. He didn't like Shadow. Shadow's bad.
It just wasn't my thing. It wasn't until I started getting into PvP that I started going Shadow. The idea of melting somebody's face, you know, just stick your hand out and melt their face, that was freaking awesome. So
They were pro face melters.
I had a lot of fun with that, and I was always called a pretty ballsy priest because I just get out there and it was like, well, if y'all ain't gonna go, I'm gonna go, and just go in there and just basically destroy whatever was in my path. And then I hooked up with a bunch of time. No, I was Shadow for PvP.
Oh, so sorry. I thought we were still talking about the holy priests. Destroy everything in my path. Smite.
You know, there was an expansion. Gosh, I don't remember what expansion it was. There was one expansion where they kind of fixed. Do you need another minute? I mean,
Smite. Sorry, the delay was because I was getting hit and interrupted.
There was an expansion later that kind of fixed holy priests to where a holy priest could actually level, and that was just before disc kind of really hit the big time, and it was like the new every priest in the world needs to be a disc priest, which I thought was utter and complete crap. It's like, no, you're a fucking priest. You're gonna heal. Be freaking holy. That is the healing class. Everybody else, shut the hell up and go away. That was just.
Oh, that's just some salt.
Yeah, I was not happy about the whole disc thing. And then they're like, oh, well, you can heal as Shadow. I was like, no, you cannot heal as Shadow. It doesn't. Well, you pop out of Shadow form. Yeah, go away. So then we hooked up with an Australian guild. Honestly, I don't even remember their name. The only thing I remember from them was raiding Blackwing Lair with them. We were just before the suppression room, and one of the guys in the guild was just screaming at people over Ventrilo. He's like, if you pass this line, and he like slow walked the line in front of us. Like, I'm gonna cut your nurries off. And we all sat there and kind of went, what?
This sounds like hopefully an effective leader, because that's what it took. Keep people out of them whelps.
Well, you gotta realize this is primarily an Australian raiding guild, and most of us that are in there are Americans or Canadian.
Oh, did you say Blackwing Lair or Nixia's Lair?
Blackwing.
Oh, Blackwing. Okay. I thought you were talking about a Nixia.
And so we're like, okay, we'll bite. What the hell do nurries mean? He goes, that's your balls, mate. We're like, oh, okay, that's a new thing. All right.
Those are called context clues, Zalen. Context clues.
I know.
Hey, man.
By what you said.
So I was the kind of guy that got up at like 3 a.m. I would have my wife sleeping in the other room, and I would go to the kitchen table and have my cereal and eat it during raid prep and sit there, and then we would raid, get done, and I would have 15 minutes to go shower really, really fast and run across the street to work. What?
You woke up at 3 a.m. to raid with Aussies?
Yep, and that was their raid time.
That's awesome.
Fair. I make people like Southeast Asia wake up at 3 a.m. to come.
Sure, but like I'm not the one doing it. Like,
hey, this was like a great raiding guild, and the other people I was hanging out with were like, "Oh, these guys are great," and I was like, "All right, most of them are kind of assholes."
Servers are really lag free at that time too.
Yeah, so. And then we kind of started server hopping for a while. We started out on Silverhand and went to a whole bunch of other ones. Ended up on... Cress is going to kick me if I even get this wrong, so I will probably get it wrong. It's fine. We ended up on Steamweedle Cartel and got into a pretty infamous guild there called the Scarlet Redemption, and it was all Scarlet RP. And this guild was hated. It was hundreds of people large, but it was the most hated guild on the server because they would jack up anybody and everybody's day. And it was all Scarlet RP. It was 100% RP. All they would do all day long was farm Scarlet Monastery. Nothing else. Just that's what they did. And then they would go out and they'd RP and make a complete nuisance of each other. At the time, it was a lot of fun. I rose to the rank of the Grand Inquisitor.
That's
Yay.
pretty good. That is pretty good. That means you torture people. That's what that means, by the way.
Pretty much. You pissed me off all of a sudden. You pissed me off all of a sudden. We would RP your death as a guild, and you would be shunned. We had a guy that just talked too much. I think he must have been like 12 years old, but he was like a non-stop talker. It was hysterical. And we had a channel in Ventrilo that we would just drag him down to, and it would just mute him. And he'd be sitting there talking. Like 12 minutes later, he'd come back and he'd be pissed. It took him 12 minutes to realize that he got drugged to a channel that nobody can hear him. This is the kind of crap we do with people. But,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember Ventrilo. We whenever they introduced like the Microsoft Sam like text to speech integration with Ventrilo, like we would go weeks where all we did was communicate with each other through Microsoft Sam. And all we would do was just use Microsoft Sam text to speech. And then we figure out how to use different symbols to make them like rap and whatnot. It was the best. That was a great week. I remember that. And then we did macros where we used something. I don't remember what it was, but I had a batch file I had everyone put in startup that would synchronize wave files that we could all kick off in Ventrilo. And so we could hotkey all these wave files. It was awesome. I miss you, Ventrilo.
Ventrilo had excellent tools. If they ever kept their freaking sound codecs and up to date, it would still probably be a competitor.
Yeah, the wave file thing was just awesome because everyone would just start like you'd hit a button and everyone would start laughing in channel. And if you didn't have the wave files, you're like, "What's going on?" Because you heard like file missing. That's all it said. But if it was a wave file, we had short little clips of just meme stuff, just awesome memes.
We used to do that back in the day with Age of Empires 2. You could actually put wave files into your computer and bind them to different key numbers in game. So you had the monk, I need a monk, or wood please, or any of that crap. But if you didn't have the wave file on your computer, it just didn't work.
Correct. You had to do it. That's what my batch file was. So anyone had access to the folders, but it would every time you start your computer up, we'd synchronize. And it's like, all right, we got the new ones.
See, you went way beyond what I did. I just hacked their computer and sat down and actually put the Pikachu sound on some guy's computer.
But everyone would make them all the time, right? So all the time you make fresh files and throw them in there, and we're like, all right, well you got to synchronize because we just had a web server sitting somewhere where you could just pull the files. Wow. They were just chilling. They were just a whole bunch of web files. Or a whole bunch of wave files.
Soundboard just going on constantly.
That's all it was.
If you're in Puka's guild and you start hearing random sounds,
I missed that. I need to go find that folder. I still have that folder somewhere. I want to find all those wave files. Half of them are custom.
Look out! He's gonna hack your computer and put a bunch of crap on there. From World of Warcraft, kind of got into Star Wars: The Old Republic.
So that was kind of my game. Do War? Did you skip Warhammer?
I skipped Warhammer. I don't even know what was going on in life at that time.
That's well. I tell you, you didn't miss much.
What year was Warhammer?
2012. Correct me if I'm wrong. 11, 12,
10.
No, yeah. 10. 12 was Guild Wars 2.
Yes,
that was 12. Yeah.
I think I was still playing WoW.
Warhammer was 9. I gotta Google this mess.
No, I was definitely still playing WoW at that time. We were pretty hardcore into WoW. We would go. I lived in
September 18th, 2008. For crying out loud, man! What happened to the time? What happened? I want it back.
You just look at chat. They told you right there. You didn't have to go look that shit up.
Wow.
Well, I just wanted to look at the box again.
And Gaspar said you can try to hack his computer. Good luck.
I miss you. Warhammer.
So I got into SWTOR. Loved that game. That was kind of my game. I have another friend who, he hates it when I say this, but he bounces around from game to game to game. And it's like every week the guy's playing a new game. It's like, dude, you just spent $5 on that game. It's like, yeah, it's great. It's like, all right, talk to me in 3 days when you're done with it.
I think everyone's got that person in their life.
Oh, yeah. Eventually, we would all. I'm trying to see. Sounds like a JB. I'm just making sure that Cress isn't in chat because Cress would be lighting me up
Yeah,
right now.
I was about to say, JB's our guy for that.
Trish, you hush. That's not me. That's Chick. Don't put that evil on me.
Sounds like Puka.
It's not me.
Everybody you've got those few people that are like, I want to play one game. I only ever want to play one game, and I don't ever want to change, and I just want to do that. And then you got one or two people that's like, I'm all over the place, man. I just can't sit still. And they're lone wolves, and they just kind of do their own thing. And it's like, dude, just community, come play with the rest of us, you know?
Trace in chat, how many... Can you put a screenshot in chat of your arc hours, please? Pull Steam up and put your arc hours in there, Trace, for everybody. Or you can just tell us the number. We'll trust you. I know you're proud of it. He wears it like a badge of honor. Strike, put yours in there, too. Those cats log some arc hours. Let's put it that way.
You know, I tried arc. I just never really got into it. It's weird. Are you serious? Almost 5,000 hours.
You better round that out. You pull it up right now. You better round that out. I want to see 5,000.
Wow. So, Strike, do you just like log in and just let it sit, or is this like active play hours?
Yeah, watch Trotius. Trotius, you better be truthful. Don't you lie. He said, "Get my money's worth."
That's
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Trotius, I want to see it.
That is insane.
I could probably pull it up.
Active play. That's ridiculous. So I was all excited.
Sorry, I got a sidetrack here.
That's all right.
Talk about people wanting to play one game.
I mean, for you, Malice, your game is what? Arcade is probably your kind of go back to game.
Well, I think SWTOR's is go back to game.
Okay. I had to drag Malice kicking and screaming back to SWTOR.
And he did.
Really?
He did.
Yeah. Oh. But he's enjoying it now because it's the storyline, and that's what he's enjoying. Am I right?
Exactly. You're not wrong. He's only a little bit more. 5,378. You know.
Wow. That's special.
Yeah, I don't think it's true.
I think if I went into Arcade and did the to look to see how long I've been playing, I think I'm somewhere about a year worth of play. The problem is it also tracks if you're AFK sitting in the game for
dedication.
That's sure.
You know?
That is a word that fits. Yes. 1,000 hours. It's ridiculous.
I did the same thing in Dark Age of Camelot.
Okay, but that was fun back in the day because that was kind of the first game that was really out there where you could actually go /play. If I recall, that really kind of showed you what your playtime was, and I mean that was a thing. I'm sure you guys all did it too. You /play, be like, oh look, I got this many hours.
I think it was cool. Age. I think it was Age, or was it Played? /played? I don't remember.
I was /played. At least for Dark Age.
One of those two.
Yeah. I think Warhammer had the /age.
/age. Gotcha.
But yeah, and I played Warhammer for a whole long. Yeah, I get fixated. I'll like lock into a game for. See, I originally got into MMOs and did the whole altitis and all this other stuff, and then my best friend just kept beating me in the head, going, "No, play one character, get good at it. Play one character, get good at it. Play one character, get good at it." Okay, and then it's now
I got no time for that.
Addictive nature to be like, all right, lock in, go. And Gladius is worse than I am, so whew.
Even in Dark Age, I had 8 alts, especially when Trials came out. I was like, well, I need this one on this guy, this one on this guy, this one on this guy, this one on this guy. Like I had alts coming out of my eyeballs.
See, I had a bunch of alts too, but they were all healers. I had like 3 friars and like 4 or 5 clerics. I mean, you know, it just...
World of Warcraft, like every class got to level it up. Every single one of them, like
had every healer.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know.
played cleric in Dark Age of Camelot, and of course, like the idiot that I am, I like to reinvent a class. So of course, I used to advertise and channel when everyone was looking for raids and stuff like that. I'd be like, Lightning Wizard looking for a group, Lightning Wizard looking for a group, because I wasn't going to heal you. I was a Mind Cleric.
You're a cleric. You have a heal
lightning
button.
bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
I would wreck people in PvP, so whatever.
Yeah, until you'd get like a mez bomb that would run in there from the mids.
Oh yeah.
And you were just screwed. I actually did try an Ice Wizard for a while in Dark Age of Camelot. That was a lot of fun. The point blank AoE, that was freaking awesome.
The Divine.
My paladin friend would go and he'd pull as much stuff as he thought he could possibly live through in the amount of time it took me to kill it as an Ice Wizard. So we'd get done and he'd be almost dead, but hey, we just killed like 35 things, you know. So
Way to do it.
Of course, there was left X nerf, and then all of a sudden Midgard was not God anymore. It's the greatest stab. It's still an infinite joke on anybody who's got Dark Age. I'm in the Mythic alumni group we have on Facebook. It's everybody that was originally worked on Dark Age of Camelot and things like that for that company, and there's still people will just randomly post left X nerf just randomly. Is the bane of that game.
this is like Malice's Menudo.
Yep. So after you did SWTOR,
man, we bounced back and forth between a lot of games. Again, I had that one friend, and that was the friend that we all enjoyed playing with. So there was like 5 or 6 of us that literally just bounced around everything. Final Fantasy came out, loved that. I got tired of that pretty quick. It wasn't really my thing. The storyline was great, but the gameplay and everything else just wasn't really my cup of tea. So I kind of went back.
Cup of Joe here, sir. Cup of Joe. This is MMO
Cup of
Grind.
Joe. All right, fine. Well, you guys drink your Joe. I'm gonna have my beer.
MMO Grind. Coffee.
So I, of course, would just go back to SWTOR and was like, okay, I'm going to go get my legendary title in SWTOR. So basically completed every different class you had on that. Did that with some other friends and bounced around. Always went back to WoW. Played a little bit through Legion. And then after Legion was like, all right, this game's crap now. It's like, I like the changes they did for Legion. And then after that, I was like, I'm done. And then since Classic came back out, I have a couple friends that have like the biggest hard-on in the world for Classic. It drives me nuts.
He's talking about you, Cress.
Yeah, I'm talking about Chris, and he's going to kick me. You're in the Carolinas, and I'm over in Colorado, so come on over.
Woo, Carolinas! I've said too much.
Cress, I always knew you were a talentless hack, but I didn't know how much of a talentless hack you were until you decided to go back to Classic WoW.
So, I mean, I'll give it to them. I went and tried it, and I was in the starting area and was my human priest, and I got through like the second quest you're given to, and I was like, no, this game's crap, and I turned it off. And I even uninstalled it. I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. I did this, 15 years ago? Why am I doing this crap again? There is absolutely no point. At the time that I'm sitting there doing the second quest, there are already guilds that have completed Molten Core and have been working on Onyxia, and it's like, why? What do you do at that point? Oh, we're gonna farm it for everybody's gear. Yeah, I did that every freaking week for years.
I don't need that nostalgia in my life.
But for some of these guys, this was like the pinnacle of their gaming experience. This is what they lived and died for. And it was interesting being kind of in their guild and kind of working with the guild leader who wanted a certain type of guild but didn't necessarily have the time to do it. And it was like, okay, these are the kind of things that you need to do. Meeting people in the guild, I don't know if they're new players, but it's like, are you new to gaming? To me, it was foreign. They jump on Discord. Oh, I've never been on Discord before. I'm sorry, what? You know,
Yeah,
it's
you do gaming to do that. Yeah.
it's the voice platform that's out there. It's the text platform. I mean, that's where everyone is. So it baffled me that people were in.
To the point that Discord is no longer just a gaming platform. It's
Yeah.
like all kind. Do you do any type of streaming media? Do you watch Twitch? Do you anything like that? Everybody's got a Discord channel somewhere for some type of business or something. You know?
So I work in production, so I do a lot of shows and a lot of conferences and stuff in the city that I live. And so because of that, I see a lot of different industries come through. Everything from insurance people to nonprofits to religious places to doctors and whatnot. And most of the time, a lot of these places will use Slack within their teams to do all that kind of stuff. I actually had one come through a couple months ago that was using Discord, and I just sat there at the table just kind of going, these are a bunch of doctors.
Yeah.
And they're freaking using Discord.
But yeah, think about it from you want voice chat because you want to be able to communicate quickly.
Well, voice, video chat too.
Oh yeah, video chat. All that stuff is really handy. Whereas Slack isn't as proficient in it.
No.
I like Slack, but yeah, it's a better text platform than a verbal voice platform.
So, I mean, that was kind of interesting seeing that and realizing, and I don't know why in my head I was like, okay, everybody knows Discord. It was just something in the gaming world. It's like, if you're in the gaming world, you know Discord. In my head, that was just a belief that I had. Completely shattered when I kind of dipped my toe back into Warcraft Classic. I was like appalled. I just didn't know what to say to these people. I was like, oh, welcome to Discord. It's really cool.
Trust me, there's a lot of people that's like, again, there's plenty of people, and there's, I think, one feature.
It's called a smartphone.
There's one feature that TeamSpeak has that Discord doesn't, and it's called Whisper List. But aside from that, it's like, it's time to join the party. Discord's
and my other question that I have that I never actually asked these players, and I probably should have, what have y'all been playing? Like, is this your only game that you've ever played? Did you play World of Warcraft? Is that the only game that you've ever been a part of? I mean, do you have any kind of exposure to the rest of the MMO or shooter or whatever world that's out there? I mean, there's an incredible amount of material and stuff that's out there, and the different communities and people, and you've pigeonholed yourself to just this. It was weird. It was very foreign to me, very strange. But
honestly, I think TeamSpeak as a rating platform is technically better because you can do a lot of like
the granularity is better.
You do all that stuff, so you could be like, I am the only person talking. I don't need to hear any of you. You know, like things like that.
Now you can do that in Discord now too. They've got priority speaker in.
Well, they got priority speaker, but that's only it just shifts it, but it doesn't completely block out.
You're right. You can't. You got to manually block everybody. Yeah, you can't just be like, boom, done.
Okay. Yeah. Unless you create specifically a channel that everybody of lower rank.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, you'd have to on the fly change everyone's permission to not be able to speak, and then change it back when you're done. Which would, it's not great.
So, kind of in the midst of all this, I have one friend that. He loves useless information. He's probably actually watching right now, but he will absorb useless information like it's food, and he loves food. I mean, who doesn't love food? So I'll just get random texts from him. He's like, "Oh, hey, did you see this game? Hey, did you see this game?" And I was like, "No, dude, I don't have time to sit there and go on all these sites and look at this stuff." But one text that I really appreciated was Camelot Unchained. He alerted me to that, and he goes, "Yeah, it's the same guy that did Dark Age." I was like, what? So I checked into it and I was like, oh, kind of hoping. And at that point I had absolutely no clue anything about what the game was about. It was just the simple fact that it was the same guy that did Dark Age Camelot coming over to basically remake the game. That is the extent of what I knew. So I was like, okay. So I bought into it. Knew nothing. Got into it more and more and more and more. And it's like, oh, okay, this is just a PvP thing. That's cool, different, cool. Not 100% my style, more and more and more we dug into it and watched a lot of their streams and videos and stuff. I got hooked. Disappointed now with the length of time, but
yeah, but it definitely locks. It locks into its niche well.
yes. And, regardless of how disappointed I may get at the length of time and, whatever kind of fancy buzzword you want to put on it to saying that we're taking our time and making sure that things are done right, it's still taking a lot of time. And it still doesn't feel like there's a lot of progression within development. And that's difficult, and I don't fault them for it, and I'm not mad at them for it, but it's difficult as a player to be like, hey, I'm excited about this. And I think those of us that are kind of more of the old school and old timer gamers, maybe not as old as some people within our communities, we're used to having to wait. You look at Dark Age of Camelot, where you could actually have a full-on 3-paragraph conversation between 2 different attacks that you had to do. That was normal for us. Nowadays, you blink and 7 attacks have happened. It's so a lot of people aren't used to waiting. So the fact that you're like, okay, there's something coming, it's on the cusp. The generation that's out there right now, just they can't wait. And we
had to hype in and go, hype train moved on. All right.
And we've even been kind of accustomed more to that idea of we're getting everything now. The niche word to say, cliche word now to say is the now generation. Well, everybody, even the boomers that are out there, have gotten used to the fact that, yes, everything is basically available now. But unfortunately, with game development, that's not possible unless it's on this.
Well, I think something that
what
works
he's
against
saying,
them,
JB, is get to work.
I think something that work. It's like you get the weekly update from them, and for a lot of people, they look at it and they're like, "Is that all that went down in the studio?" It's like that's it. But the reality is, you're getting a unique look into what is true game development, and you've not gotten that from other studios. And this is just the reality of the day-to-day grind that's their world, and many other studios have not opened up that picture or given that view like City State has given into their day-to-day. And so it's kind of eye-opening, and people think like, oh, they're going slow, and there have been some hiccups, but the eye-opening thing is like this is the industry. It's just a lot of studios stay in the dark for 6-7 months at a time, then bring you something big, and you're like, whoa, And here you're like, well, here's a weekly update, And so it's just different. I think I kind of like it, but
and I think there's a downfall in the realm of transparency when you look at the millennial generation and then the snowflake generation that's currently coming up. Yeah, I don't claim to be a millennial, even though I'm right on that cusp. I just. Puka froze.
I practice that standing really still.
But like I say, the idea of transparency to millennials and kind of more of the current generation, if you're just showing, hey, we're doing this, but it's not really a whole lot of progression, there's nothing for them to get behind. There's nothing for them to get excited about. It's just, hey, that's great, guys, but that's not what I wanted. Transparency when it comes to the way a lot of those of us that are technically within the millennial range is, why is it taking so long? Give us something to rally behind. Yes, every now and then Jacobs specifically is like, we're having problems hiring developers. The amount of chatter that comes after he says something like that is, oh, I should go learn to develop, or, oh, I know developers, or, oh, this is the generations that are getting behind. They see a problem and they want to go attack it because they want stuff to get done. But when you're transparent only in, hey, these are the things that we've got done, and that's it, and you're not being vulnerable, which is a two-edged sword, there's nothing for the people to really get behind and be like, okay, we're going to either throw more money at you to fix that problem, because we all know gamers have just a ridiculous amount of money that they'll throw at anything they believe in. And I think that's the struggle with transparency.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at some point, you as a company owner, you have to. You're always advertising your product to consumers. And I don't know if you just lay out all your shortcomings, on a picnic blanket and be like, hey, sort through these things, guys. I don't know if that's necessarily conducive of what is a very productive business.
No, I'm not saying only show your shortcomings. I'm just saying that.
But even showing them, period. There's some things you want to keep under the rug, and flex when you get it done.
Leader to look at those shortcomings and go, okay, what is the dirty laundry, or what is the things we're struggling with that we can air, that if we truly know our community, our constituents, our backers, whatever you want to call them, we know that this is going to matter to them. So if we show them a bit of transparency on this thing, they're going to just jump all over it in a good way and attack it. And that's a very difficult thing to do.
Right.
Sure.
Put up targets that when they're attacked, it's rewarding, because that means they will try to get you developers. They will try to fix your problem.
Yeah, you're asking what you actually need help with. And I think they've been pretty open. It's something Malice talked about, though, is a lot of people in that particular company are having to wear a lot of hats. And it's, you're after some pretty high caliber talent a lot of times. And that's just...
Okay, for those of you that don't get to see Puka's full screen, I get to see him without the fun background and everything, and there's just this cat jumping in the background off.
I keep seeing it too.
And I don't mean for this to turn into a CSE bashing stream, because I really love the group. I love what they're doing. I love how they're doing it. I think it's fantastic. For me, as someone that's like, oh, I see a problem, I need to go fix it, it bothers me that it is taking a while for whatever reason that may be, and that there's nothing I can do.
I'm going to show you the art of the Puka patience. You must hone and zen.
I think one of the things that and something
I don't have a beard, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah, something Puka touched on earlier, and I think it's the most important thing to understand is, like, pre-08, basically, game development was 3 to 5 years before you ever even knew the game was in existence.
Well, heck no, you had no idea. Investors knew,
and that game may have died before, like Mark Jacobs was building a space Roman space empire game. Most people don't know it ever even existed because it never hit that point where it was ready to launch and to start selling to the customer. So what we're seeing in the current modern Kickstarter game is you have to see it from idea to finality, and you realize how long that's honestly kind of always taken. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that they're still maybe going a little long, but they're also, because they're a lot lower funded than, say, SWTOR or Warhammer or these games where they had $100 million, $300 million. Their war chests were huge, whereas these guys are, running by bootstraps, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, technology changes. The model that makes the money changes, based on what we as different generations that come through with the money want. The new fads that come out, and we've talked about that on the Sunday stream that we do from time to time. So it's interesting to see where the games are going, and I don't know, a lot of that stuff's fascinating. Which kind of brought me into, I guess, the whole reason that you guys have me on your.
Yeah. We need to transition into like
Smart
Gamer Live. What lit that? We got a lot of history, a lot of groundwork. Blade.
Well, yeah. Y'all let me talk. I'm just going to talk. So, I got into the forums there within CU and was kind of looking at stuff and saw a lot of old timer posts and saw some guilds going up. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I was looking around for anybody that knew the old glory days of Fire and Steel, because that was the good old days for me. And nobody was really on it. And I was like, okay, so I'll post here, see if anything bites. And the forums are kind of, you have those people that are really active in the forums, and then you have those people that are like, okay, I'm going to check it once a month to see if there's anything kind of cool. Yeah. So, so a buddy of mine's like, oh, hey, you're from Fire Steel. Why don't you start it up? Nobody's done that yet. And I was like, oh boy. So I took a couple weeks with another buddy of mine who's a writer, and Malice just went really, really blurry. That was weird.
No, he's good on stream.
I'm going to call you out. Anyway, so we sat down and we created the Writ of Fire and Steel, which was a big thing back in the day too, and got that going. And at the time, Velik had just reached out. Ordo Veritas, another Albion guild. He's like, hey, come join us. Da, 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 da. I was like, oh, hey, had you been like a week sooner, sure. Otherwise, somebody had suggested I do this. I jumped on this boat. Yeah, posted it up there, and I was all ready, and I was like, okay. As Gaspar said, instant gratification. Waiting for people to come. Nothing. I was like, all right. Expectations were not where they probably should have been. That was my bad. All right, I'll deal with that. And then Zeb reached out, and I was like, okay, you're kind of a weird guy. Zeb, I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Gut punch, Zeb.
When he first reached out to me, I was like, all right, this is kind of weird. And then he just kept talking to me. I was like, okay, there's a lot of times where my gut reaction's like, all right, no, I'm just not going to talk to this person, or I don't like the way they're doing it. And other times, for some reason, it's like, okay, I'll bite. And with Zeb, I just had that feeling of, okay, I'll bite. So it was like, okay. So I started talking to him back, and I really like him. Really, really nice guy. And I could tell right away he was a networker. Just in general, that was kind of his thing. So we got to talking about some stuff just related to leadership within gaming and how difficult it was with what we were doing and yada, yada, yada. And then I posed the question to him. I said, hey, we as leaders do all this work for the communities that we manage, whether we are a guild leader or a community leader of a whole ton of guilds, or even if we're, JB, who's a dev working and stuff. You put in all this effort to the people that you work with or that you are there to support at great sacrifice to yourself. Your game time is severely stunted because you're having to deal with all the crap. Okay, a little bit. You get to deal with the politics so much more than anyone else in your guild. You're giving of your time so that everybody else within your community, your guild, is going to enjoy whatever game it is that they're playing and the community that they're a part of to the best of the ability that you can do for them. Who supports you?
My mom.
Your mom. Okay.
Thank you, Mom. You'd be great.
So
See you at Christmas.
the newest member of SGL is Puka's mom.
I give her a call. We'll find out some joy.
All right. So I posed that question to him, and he was just like, oh. I was like, somebody should get together and create something that is basically that support mechanism for leaders and officers, because there's nothing out there. You either start a guild in a game, and it either makes it
Gladius.
or it dies.
Gladius.
I'm getting to that, Gladius. I'm getting to that. And it was like, okay, you make it or it dies. And some of these ideas for these guilds and the communities that they're going are fantastic. And maybe you've got a great group of people, and it just pitters out because you have no clue what you're doing. I mean, some of these people are 16 years old that are starting guilds. Some of these people are, giant fish with beards like Puka.
Call me a fish?
Well, you're sitting at home.
Fish?
Yeah.
Like a guppy.
Like a guppy. And there's not a whole lot there to say, hey, you need to start doing this or your community is going to suffer. Or, hey, what you're doing is awesome. Why are you doing that? How are you doing that? Because I want to do that within my community. And so Zeb, being the incredible realist and down to earth dude that he is, a lot of times just typed back. He's like, "So do it." And I was like, "Doggone it! Why did you have to say that?" You know, it's like, gosh. So I was like, "All right, fine." I threw it back at him. I was like, "If you can get some additional leaders," and we started with just within Camelot Unchained. If you can get some additional leaders to come on board who will buy into this idea of creating an organization that supports leadership within the overall gaming world, sure, we'll do it. And we'll make it a stream and we can do all this cool stuff. And oh my gosh, has this evolved since then? You know, we were just going to be CU centric. It was just going to be this and da da da. And then very quickly it was like, okay, sorry, JB, we're going to chuck CU out the window and we're not going to be single game centric. It's just going to be every game out there, because really what we're doing is creating a community for leaders to come together and
to play CU.
You know, granted, a lot. But,
everything else is just waiting.
If we touch every game, we can hold them all to CU eventually.
You know, we've got leaders on here, the orange tags there in Discord that are from World of Warcraft, whether it's retail or classic. We've got people on there from Final Fantasy Online. We've got a lot of the big box games in there, and everyone that I've talked to, and this part blows me away. Everyone that I talk to, and you guys, I'm going to call you out on this. You're all jerks when you are like, "Hey, I talked to so and so about coming on board with Smart Gamer." I was like, "Okay, great. I'll talk to them and fill in any blanks." And so usually my first question is, "Hey, I don't know what," and I'll pick on Zeb more. "I don't know what Zeb has told you about SGL, but I'm here. I'm kind of the, I guess, de facto founder of the thing. I'll fill in any blanks." And they said, "Oh, all he told us was something about a stream."
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like,
that's what gets them all. They don't need too much. Listen, when you're fishing, you don't throw a whole fish out there. You just give a little piece. Like, just give them something to bait the water. You know what I mean? Like, just to get them there.
Pretty basic ideas that I don't know what I was expecting. But
play their ego, sucker them in, and then that point, then the trap goes off.
And what Zalen learned, everybody, is when he gets us to invite y'all without giving us a script.
Hey, working on that, right?
It's learning for everybody.
The circle of destruction continues.
The
part that I love is, like, I get all these people in here that are just like, they know nothing. They're just like, sure, I'm interested in hearing more. And I tell them what it is that kind of our aim is and our goal is to do. And so far, every person that I've talked to has been like, that sounds awesome.
Moist, thank you for the subscribe.
You moist, heinous you.
No, I'm just going to refer to him as Moist.
Because you don't want to say heinous.
Heinous.
Thanks, Moist. So it really, I'm floored by the response that I'm getting from lots of leaders. You guys have floored me with the dedication that you're doing. And for those of you watching, I've told all these guys from the get-go, it's like, hey, I don't want this to ever be something that takes away from your primary responsibility of your community. These are your groups, and this organization is meant to help you and provide you tools to be better, whatever that may look like. And if we're taking away from your time or your energy or your efforts to work with your community, then we're not doing what we should be doing. So the fact that these two guys, I guess I have to go like this on my screen, it's different, are doing as much as they're doing, it's awesome, and then I have people like Gladius, who I think right now is under the tag of Plague State there in the chat. At some point I realized I couldn't do Smart Gamer and Fire and Steel at the same time within CU. It was too much pulling me in either direction. And then so my other officer guys and I got to talking, and we're like, okay, we're going to fold Fire and Steel. It was just us, so, no big deal. And I'm just going to put all my efforts into Smart Gamer. And then the question was, okay, well, whose community do we want to join? We had Ordo Veritas, we had Clan Zerker, we had 2 of these tree hugger people. I think it's this way that I need to point.
Losers of Light or something like that.
Harbingers of Light. Not even paying attention.
Bingers.
There you go. Okay.
I'm engaging with the community, Zalen, not now.
Okay, I'm sorry, Chief.
They're whore bingers. What? Whore bingers?
Or I had this guild. From the only thing I knew about them was that it was a guild of a-holes. Plague.
Accurate.
So, originally when we were first getting into CU, we wanted to go Viking. So we're like, okay. So we were looking at the Viking guilds. So then it came down to Clan Zerker versus Plague.
Poor choice.
Started talking with Jorval and
forest.
We were going to chop down all your trees.
You're not.
So
You can't do it. Can't do
Yeah,
it.
we're going to chop all.
Nope, can't do it. That's ironwood.
Malice and I
Can't do
hit
it.
it off pretty quick. Yeah, he was kind of brass at the beginning, but I feel like we hit it off pretty quick, and I liked the guy, so I was like, all right, we'll try this one. And then the more and more I got to know them, I have another friend who he wears like the most culturally inappropriate t-shirts you can possibly find on the face of the planet, and that's just the way he is. More and more I got to know Plague, I was like, I turned to my buddy and I was like, you are going to feel so at home here. And we have felt at home here. The funny thing is that really nobody in the guild knew that I was in there. I think Malice just kind of invited me one day. I didn't really talk with anyone. And it was after
playing any games they were playing, so
it was after the first or second stream. And I hadn't said anything in the Discord. I was just kind of reading stuff. This guy named Gladius Rex got on and just was ripping the stream like hardcore. And just, I mean, it was brutal.
I was
And
there.
I'm sitting there reading it going, wow. Trying to figure out how do I want to respond to this? Because it was like, and again, this is one of
them. You have to keep
this
your
is one of those
strong.
moments where it's like, okay, do I pick a fight? Do I get all butt hurt and run away with my tail between my legs? Or do I just embrace it and be like, all right, this dude's got a strong opinion. I didn't know he streamed at this point. This dude's got a strong opinion. Let's hear it and let's see if we can't make things better. So I sent him a message and I was like, hey, you've got some pretty strong opinions about this. I'd love to hear it. I like feedback and I want to know how to make it better. I love Gladius. You always know exactly where you're going to stand with him. It is so blatantly from the hip. It's awesome. And he's a great guy. I like him. So, and that was kind of, and after every stream now, it's just like, all right, Gladius, hit me. And some of it's like, oh, he tries to be really nice. And it's like, dude, okay, we're friends now. You can shank all you want. It's fine. Just tell me what it is, because really that's the only way.
It has to be hard the first time. Might as well just keep going with it.
He's
Yeah,
like, well, if you keep Puka from eating his beard,
Disgusting.
but you can't, Gladius.
Get that out of your mouth. But it's a lot of that blatantly honest feedback. And there's a cat on Malice. I can't work. Like, sorry, I'm so distracted. It's like suddenly his screen is getting blacker. So that's one of the things I like about Smart Gamer is we've got people that come in and we're like, hey, we're trying to do this. For instance, we had a gentleman who's no longer with us, but he on one of the streams was like, hey, I'm new. We want to create a Viking guild within CU. What are your suggestions to do it? And then everybody that was on the stream that day gave him just some really awesome feedback. It wasn't like, oh no, you got to join our group, or, oh, we don't want the competition. It was just straight up, hey, we want you to succeed. So Here's what we know. And that's the point of Smart Gamer, is we've got all these officers, all these leaders, all these people that have years and years and years of leadership experience. We have learned all the stuff the hard way, and there's still stuff that we are learning. Share it. There's still stuff, Puka goes off and does his monologues for 30 minutes on a stream. I learned stuff. It's really cool. It's awesome.
Monologues.
And at the same time, I'm learning about another leader within another game. So if for some reason I decide I want to go play, I don't know what that game is you guys are always playing there.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Yeah, if I want to go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure, I
That's
know
the one, yeah.
that Puka's got a lot of experience. Like every time I see him on Discord, he is playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Yeah, Monkey
So I
Balloon
know
Pop.
that's where I can go.
Y'all can find me there.
At least play Neopets, man.
I can't do Neopets. I'm not good enough. All the high school kids make fun of me.
So that's kind of where Smart Gamer birthed from. It was trying to fill the niche of, we've got a lot of leaders that could use support, whatever that may look like. And maybe it's just a community for them to belong to, because for some of us, and I'm not saying this is me, but for some leaders, I've been in situations like this. It's lonely at the top when you're a part of a guild or you're running a guild, because you're the guy at the top. And especially within older guilds, there's a lot of mentality with people that you only talk to the person in charge when you've done something wrong or you're about to get your ass chewed out. So they just don't
Y'all
do
hear
it.
that,
Right?
HOL? Y'all cut it out. I don't want to hear any more day-to-day crap. Ah! I'm under attack.
I even want to know.
Is your wife throwing things at you now?
She's got a Nerf gun.
Okay.
It hurts more than you think.
You hear that? Well, Puka is not your real boss. That one's sitting next.
But he does have apparently a weakness to Nerf guns.
So, and one of the cool things that we noticed within the first few weeks was the exponential growth that we had of people joining, coming in, and just chatting. And it's like, okay, well, sometimes I go in and the Discord's quiet, and people are like, nobody's talking. I was like, I'll give them some time. These are all leaders. These are officers. These are people in charge of things. They got other stuff going on.
We got our own Discords to fill with text.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll text Puka something on Discord, and I won't hear from him for a week. And the first couple of times, that freaked me out, because it's like, dude, we got a stream tomorrow, and I haven't heard one peep from you, and I can't make it because my job sucks. So I've just learned that, hey, just give it some time, and people will talk. And they do when the conversation is good, and everybody's got an opinion. What's that Shrek line? Ogres are like onions, opinions are like onions. I don't know. I probably
I thought it was get out of my swamp.
Get out of my swamp. So the nice thing about Smart Gamer is that place for leaders to come together and kind of just be themselves and learn and help each other, which is something kind of cool, because you're all leaders, so there's no expectations of each other. There's no, hey, are you going to do this with us for the guild this week? You don't get those questions. You get, hey, what are you guys doing this week? So you get to get excited and talk about, our terrorist guy that we've got, Poison Taco. He gets so excited to talk about the whales that he's going to go blow up this week on his secret raid.
He is a terrorist.
But it's when you've told your guild people that 40 different times, it can get old. But when you've got a whole bunch of other leaders and it's like, hey, I want to tell you about what I'm doing. It's freaking awesome, and it's doing this for us. Then some other leaders go, oh, maybe we try something like that. Maybe not necessarily in C or in Star Citizen. You might get labeled as a terrorist, but so that's kind of where.
As far as saying bad things about me in chat,
I don't know.
It's like I
understand what he's saying.
The official guild goal of HOL is to harass Puka.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, that's a big word.
Velik, honestly, is like, to me, he's the perfect antithesis of leadership. And we view kind of our goals often are the same, but how we get about them are very, very different. And so I do like gleaning information off of things that he says that are more organization bent. Like, how do I try to apply some type of organization to the chaos that is my guild, and try to be like, I want to accomplish this. And that was a neat idea, but that idea would never work with my crew. That just doesn't fly. There are a bunch of people who do not submit to rulership in that way. And so you have to understand your people. And it's like, okay, so how do I get that? I can apply that. It's a good foundation of an idea, you know. And I like that I've been able to glean.
You hear that, Plague? Malice is learning. He's growing.
Oh,
he doesn't like it. He's a foul pace of mouth. So that's kind of where we came from and where we are now.
Strong, strict bunch of rules, and you're all going to have to be obedient servants. Yeah, that'll go over well.
No one in my guild does anything I ask them to do.
Yeah, Malice is the Northeast. Malice is the dictator.
Where's the mute button for Malice?
Let me know when you find it, because gosh. Hey,
damn.
So
I see how it is.
I'm just kidding. I got the mute button right here.
To say with Smart Gamer that we're not growing anymore, membership is kind of, that's on me. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to grow membership more, but you guys have started a stream which has got some pretty awesome content, and I've been absolutely loving it. We've got the town hall. We bring people in. We've got my thing that will eventually get kicked off the ground when my work schedule gets... So again, I work in production, so my work schedule literally changes weekly, and I know my week usually 2 days in advance from when the week starts, and I'm still seeing a cat jump through Puka's camera thing, and it's
welcome to my house.
And then we've got Party Squid that will be starting a stream primarily on community building. So you got my stream that's kind of focusing more on leadership, you guys that are focusing more on the ins and outs of the MMO world and gamers themselves. And then we've got the town hall, which is the leadership coming together to just have some fun and talk about stuff that we like to talk about. And this new one is about community building. How do we do that better within the different games? How do we leverage technology that's coming out? All that kind of stuff. And it's, I'm excited about this stuff. I guess I should be like, I'm excited about this.
It sounds like he's choking up there a little bit, guys.
I think Zalen, I would say what the biggest thing you need to work on is your energy. You need to project better.
He can do the.
Oh my God! This is awesome.
We all go through a lot of crap in our lives, and that kind of shapes our personalities and who we are and how we react to things. And I've gotten to the point now where it's like, if I do show emotion, for me, that's like way over the top. Like, I am so freaking excited I'm about to piss my pants type of thing. Or like, it takes a lot to piss me off, but some people can do it when you're stupid as... those people will piss me off, and that shows. But in the middle, even my wife's just like, you're just kind of... You're there. You're even keeled. That's... So, that's me. I'll try to be more animated for you, Malice.
Captain Vanilla Galef.
Thank you. It is my favorite flavor ice cream, so if you're going to send me ice cream, do that.
Well, is there anything about, Smart Gamer specifically, you got us here that you'd like to...
This is your opportunity to also sell to any of our lovely viewers
any
why
merch?
They should totally be into helping you out make Smart Gamer a better place. Like, hey, Patreon,
So, you guys put this on me quite a bit. I never made Smart Gamer to be Zalen's thing. That was
It is Zalen's thing, though.
Okay.
You're the guild
but
leader of.
I've never.
Game
It's
Alive.
never been my intent, and it's one of my most sincerest hopes that if I do get hit by a beer truck or something, this thing carries on without me, because the idea behind it of supporting each other, I think, is phenomenal. I'm just
we changed the name. We call it we call it Dumb Gamers, and we'd like in a heartbeat. You don't even understand. I wouldn't blink. I wouldn't blink.
But as long
all
as you're
new
still
branding.
doing the overall mission of supporting each other and helping people grow, 'cause we've got
We
a
wouldn't do
lot
that either. We'd just scream for an hour. We would just scream. It'd just be an hour of screaming every couple.
That's right. Could be
I
your
think
wife.
Kika has lost it.
I just have all these great ideas.
A show of just screaming. Yes, this is why Zalen's in charge of this. And not Puka.
Oh man.
No, Moist, I am not dying. I'm just saying if I got hit by a beer truck, which would be awesome, but
If you're gonna go, I mean,
What?
best way to go.
to
That's
me,
a lot of
if
beer.
you get hit by a
I
beer
don't think
truck,
you get to drink it.
No, but the requirement is that
You get to
all
pay
of that
them.
beer is now required to show up at the funeral.
I guess that is true. Yeah, it is all evidence now.
Yep.
And, like if I get hit by a beer truck, then I'll just, my wife will sue the company and make sure that everybody's who is a part of SGL gets free beer for the rest of their life as penance. That's just.
I don't want to get hit by a hearse.
You want to get hit by a hearse?
Beer truck you want to get hit by?
Wow, this just got really morbid now.
Yeah, this is dark.
Hey, I heard free beer for life.
So back to what I was saying about what I want to tell people about SGL. Honestly, the biggest way to support the organization right now is to bring in other officers, to bring in leaders, get them involved, get them making new friends, get them on the Discord, get on the streams and start talking, join the conversation. That is the best thing that you could possibly do for Smart Gamer right now. It's not the money, though the money is nice. Whether you're subbing on Twitch, Malice wants the money. He doesn't like his job anymore. I do. We do have the Patreon account. It's there. We've got lovely, awesome merch. I made most of it myself. There's a couple items in there that I actually made.
Every piece. Yeah, he hand stitches every shirt. They're beautiful.
There's actually a couple of items in there I made that when I was making it. I literally turned to my wife and was like, "Why would you ever buy this?" So I tried to make it as the most obscene thing as I possibly could. So if you find that and you want to buy it, props to you. Send us pictures and we'll put it up on the stream.
He's talking about those boxer briefs. Where do you think that
No,
place
actually, I'm
is?
talking about the sports bra that has the Smart Gamer head
boy.
in specific places. Yeah. And the yoga pants. The yoga pants are just... but there's some good stuff. There's baseball caps and stickers and everything else. So, but really the biggest line of support is just...
Support.
Get people here watching the stream. Get people into Discord. Join up. Bring in new... What did I say?
No, Darth is in stream chat.
There's comics about bras and like underwear, yoga pants, and then you can support. I'm 12 at heart. It just falls apart.
I've got some guys that are kind of giving of their time right now to help us work on the SGL website. Gladius is throwing some sponsors our direction to kind of communicate with to see if it's a good fix. There's lots of ways that you can do support. I am looking for some people to kind of take on some additional responsibilities of like social media management, stuff like that. It's a labor of love at this point. There's no money coming in.
There is no paycheck. There is only Zool.
Yeah, there is. So you'll get Zool. Malice has cookies. That's what we
Zalen. Not Zalen.
No, Zool.
Zalen.
Zoolan.
Zalen.
Zoolander. Also, any of you that are watching that wants to express deeply your love for games or
You
want
can
to
sit
talk
here.
about a game or do anything like that, you could sit in Zalen's seat
Right here
right
in the
now.
middle.
So you let us know.
We'll tickle
and we
you.
will happily bring you on as a guest to destroy the world or however you want to go about it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
and it doesn't,
JB, if
it doesn't
you hate
matter
games,
and it doesn't matter for those of you that
Well-
are like, oh, that would be kind of cool, or I don't really have anything like profound that I want to talk about. It doesn't matter. If you've been in gaming for even a couple of days, you have an experience that's unique to you that other people do not have. And sharing that experience with other leaders, it can be helpful. It could be just the right thing that they need to hear at just the right time. Or it could just make them laugh for the next 7 hours, which is awesome as well. And you get to be on with people like Puka and Malice, and they'll drag out all kinds of crazy stuff out of you. They love to ask questions and make fun of me and all that kind of good stuff. So
we'll make fun of you too. I can make fun of anybody. It'd be great. Don't you want to get made fun of publicly?
No one is immune.
Will we go on YouTube forever? Forever?
We will troll you for eternity.
Forever. See, you'll love it. So come party with us.
JB wrecked.
Yeah, JB hurt my feeling. He said all games are for children, so it's like, well, you know.
JB,
you're
you're gonna sit in this seat, maybe not like my seat, but you're gonna sit in this square at some point.
Yeah, hurry up on that.
Why is he crying?
Because I'm a child. acting, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that.
For those of you watching, before we actually started this stream, I actually asked Puka. I said, "So Puka, I was thinking of a fundraiser, and was just curious as to how much money it would take for you to shave your beard."
Yeah, he did ask that. And I told him it was a number that would cause me to never be seen by you guys again.
Because we put out $1 million and he was still like, I don't know. I'm like, wow.
Doesn't even begin. Not for this. This is my beard. Look at it. Oh, look at it. I'm going to pet it.
I dye myself orange to like for $1 million.
You envious? Look at it.
No. I gotta say,
my wife's typing like she's typing a threat. You can tell how the keystrokes are. She's typing a threat right now.
$1 million.
It's a threat. Look! Look at that. See, that's a threat. That's a threat.
Do it in his sleep. See, there's a woman after my own heart.
That's a. I'm not safe in my own home. Help, please.
Yeah, we're gonna actually have to go the other route. We're gonna, instead of doing a fundraiser on getting him to shave his beard, we have to do a fundraiser to have people hunt him down and hold him down and shave his beard.
How about we just do a beard growing fundraiser? Why don't Zalen grow a beard? Let's do it.
I can't.
You gotta like that, and it'll just.
Why did
No, I literally have to shave everything off every single morning before I go into work.
Oh, that's.
Why?
Okay, well, there you go. Link that Patreon again. Zayla wants to grow a beard so he can stop having to shave.
Yeah, actually have a beard like a real man.
Donate to Patreon so Zayla can stay at home in his underwear and grow a beard.
Hey, no joke. I actually have people at work that have facial hair that grows so fast they keep razors in their lockers, and
That's
if we're pulling a
ridiculous.
12 or a 16, they will go midday and shave that crap off because otherwise you get ripped.
That's ridiculous.
Why?
Hey, 5-star, 5-diamond service, buddy.
All right, well, I think that's our time for today. Unless y'all have anything else.
Puka just doesn't want to be on here anymore. Let's be
I mean, we can go all night. Y'all want to? That's up to y'all.
Yeah, we'll give him a beard wig. He'll get shaved off and have it hooked over his ears and
I can look over my ears right now. I know what y'all talking about.
Did anybody ask any questions in chat? I can't really see it. It's
no, mostly it's just reading or braiding it. All right. So,
All right. Here we go. We have this on video now with Puka looking like that and laughing like crazy. If we can get $100 on Patreon, whoever you are, you get a GIF that is yours of Puka laughing like that with his beard.
Oh gosh,
that's the best blackmail you'll ever have on him.
It's on the internet now.
It's out there. There's nothing you can do. It's only going to get better as this gets longer.
He's going to start tying it on top of his head.
All we see is really like 3 inches of it.
Wow. I'm 12.
We've gone down, guys.
All right, clearly, we've lost all of our minds.
I'm ending this right now. Thank you, guys.
I want to thank everyone for showing up, watching the life story here of Zalen and At Least in Gaming, and kind of why this site exists and why you should support Smart Gamer Live.
Or why not? You probably just learned
why not. Puka, that guy over there, he's the one you need to like. He's the linchpin of why we're not getting more subs. But please subscribe, follow us, give us your support. We could really use it, as well as check out our Patreon. Hook us up with a dollar. Anything. It does cost to make all these videos and all of the supporting bull crap that goes into it. So please help us out. Also, check us out on Sundays for our community hall. And as you can see today,
more faces.
With more faces and talking about more guild-related things as opposed to individual game content.
If you guys do want to be on either this stream or the community town hall, just shoot one of us. You know, you guys are pretty much all in Discord with us. Just shoot us a direct message.
JB cheered. I don't know what that means, though. I don't know how this website works.
Thanks, JB. We got 100 cheers.
Thanks for the cheer, JB.
That must mean something because Restream popped it up. I bet that means something. Does that mean something? Go Streamlabs.
Good job. Obviously, we also have Smart Gamer Live Discord. Come join us. Come hang out. Find out what the community's about. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching us. And you guys have a great night.
Peace.